My name is Nathan Hawthorne, and I walked on to Portland State football.
What's up, Sean?
Nathan, we were rivals in high school. But I have always admired you and respected the way, A, your hard work, and B, the way you carry yourself. You just have this demeanor that I respect and enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're here today. Your story matters to me. The reason your story matters is because I quit football. I got to the point, I went to Lewis and Clark and I was like, you know what? This isn't my dream. And I stopped fighting for my dream. I left. You have continued to chase that dream, and you have persevered. And that's what I want to talk about today. That's what I love about you and what's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, can we talk about at the end of high school, what were your options? Were you highly recruited? You in high school were Mr. Everything.
When it came down to it at the end of high school, football related, there wasn't a whole lot, honestly, going on for me recruiting-wise.
Yeah.
There were some options to go to some Division III schools like Cal Redlands,
sure.
Simon Fraser up in Canada, Puget Sound, Lewis and Clark. We went on our visit together.
Yeah.
So that was
can we admit
cool.
the guys there are cool?
Yeah, the guys there are pretty sweet. I love Coach Jackson. I still talk to him every now and then as well.
I do too. Yeah, he's awesome.
Great mentor. Division II school like Western Oregon. I heard from Southern Oregon momentarily. And then a couple of the larger schools like Montana State and Portland State, I had some conversation with for a while. But when it came down to it, I actually had 0 offers to play collegiate football.
Now, how was that difficult? Like, was that a gut check? How would that feel?
That was extremely difficult for me. I was hearing from some people that I had trained with and from the coaches, it sounded like I was going to receive an offer. But
sure.
Like I said, when it came down to it, I didn't. And that hits you pretty hard when you feel like you've put in so much work and so much effort into your craft, and then to not see, in a sense, a reward for it. Yeah. Like you just said, it's definitely a gut check.
Yeah,
it hurts a little
especially
bit.
We trained all in the off season. I know how much work you put in, and you were not. You had every reason to be successful, in my opinion. What did you ultimately do? Where did you go from high school?
From high school, one of the things was University of Oregon. That was my dream, was to play football there. Yeah, I love the school.
Who can blame you?
Yeah, grew up a Duck. My dad went to the University of Oregon, so a little bit of a legacy from him, and as well as a dream. It sounded like there was an opportunity to be a preferred walk-on.
Sure.
That didn't end up happening, so they encouraged me to go ahead and walk on in the fall once classes started. Okay. That's what I ended up doing. I ended up getting cut from there. Right after the walk-on tryout. But what they told me, they said, hey, why don't you, come back in the spring, and we'll see if we can't get you on then. Unfortunately, I ended up getting cut for the second time. That one...
You're a crazy man.
That one hurt. Yeah, that one hurt a lot. But, yeah, that's what happened after high school. My first year of college, I ended up getting cut from football from the University of Oregon.
I didn't realize you were cut twice.
Yeah.
It's one thing to... Wow.
Yeah, it really, really, really sucked, and... You keep in contact with some of the coaches, and you try to keep your name in their head.
Yeah, definitely.
And you genuinely
and
feel
you're on
like,
campus at this point, right? You're taking classes.
Yeah. And you genuinely feel like, I've got this. I've worked hard enough. Mm-hmm. I know what I can do. And then, boom, it hits you again. You didn't make it.
Did your family always support you? Like when you were cut twice, is there a moment where you're like, man, should I stop?
Absolutely. That first time I got cut, and they were telling me, come back in the spring and we'll see if we can't get you on then.
Yeah.
My dad was extremely supportive. He's like, you know what? They're right. By that time, Oregon, when they start school, they're almost 5 games into the season.
Yeah.
So, you're halfway through. I'm like, you know what? I get that. I can wait a couple more months, stay in shape, all that stuff, and train. And my dad was like, you know what? That's a good opportunity for you. Focus on your classes, get a little bit better, and then come back even stronger. My dad's probably been my biggest supporter.
That's awesome. I've met him. Great guy.
Yeah. Love my pops. Love my family.
How do you train on camp? When you're not on the team, what do you do to train?
Intramural football for sure. Intramural football. But the biggest thing is there's actually a lot of guys, believe it or not, who are always trying to walk onto the team.
Okay.
And so when you go out and work on the rec fields, there's guys out there too.
Wow.
And so you meet them, you build a relationship, you exchange numbers, and then you kind of build that group of guys who are going out there to get work in. Some of them obviously more dedicated than others, but you do that.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
Is there a little sub-community of guys?
There is, absolutely,
awesome.
And it's for every sport too.
Really?
When you go into the rec center, into the gym, you see guys who maybe play on the club team or aren't quite on the team, but they're still trying to make it to the basketball team. So for every sport, there's kind of like a subgroup of guys who went to the school, didn't get the opportunity to play, but they're still gunning for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you build that community, and then you just really have to be dedicated to it. And fortunately, I made some great friends in my dorm, and we lived right across from the rec. And we started this thing called the 8 a.m. swim squad. And so we would wake up.
What does that mean?
We would wake up at 7:40, and we would head over to the rec center, and we'd do a swim workout every morning at 8 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. And just to keep ourselves in shape, you start your day with something that's going to make you better. And then we go and get breakfast and go on with our day, whether that's going to class or you got to spend the day doing homework, that kind of thing. But yeah, you just have to be dedicated.
When did Portland State become an option?
Portland State, like I talked about, was an option out of high school. I had a relationship with Coach Barnum already.
Awesome dude.
Yeah, he graduated from Columbia River, so my own high school.
Yep.
And when I had gotten cut, one of the first people I had reached out to was Isaac Ennis. I said, hey, what does the scene look like at Portland State? And it was shortly after that I got my release from the University of Oregon to talk to other schools, because technically I tried out, so I was on the team, so you still have to get that release.
Yeah.
I ended up reaching out to Coach Whitworth, and ultimately I got a call from
Nick.
I
love Nick.
Ultimately, I got a call from Evan Mazzocchi saying that Portland State was interested in having me transfer.
Yep.
And then from that point on, I was just in contact with him, made a visit back to Vancouver, met with Barnum up in the offices, and that's where we are today.
So ultimately, you made the team. Now, is that the...
Yes, made the team
awesome.
Portland State.
Well done. First of all, you're crazy for keeping going. That's really cool. What's it like being a walk-on? Do you fit in with the players, the scholarship guys?
Absolutely. Being a walk-on is difficult in the sense that you have more to prove. As a scholarship guy, you can walk in, you understand that, I might redshirt, but as a walk-on, it's do or die. Yeah. Every single time you show up, whether it's fall camp during the season, you have to bring it, because if you don't, you are essentially more expendable.
You've already been cut twice.
You're more expendable than the next guy. Yeah. And for me, I never want that feeling of being cut again or being pushed aside again. And so that's what drives me to keep working hard.
Did you feel slighted at all? Like, I shouldn't have to walk on. Did you ever feel that way?
I had that honorary moment to myself at the end of high school. Yeah. There'd be times when I was training to go to the University of Oregon. I'm like, what is this? Like, I should be, like, somebody should be paying for my school. Yeah, like, I belong here, that kind of thing. It was never I deserve it, because ultimately you never deserve anything, but you feel like you've earned more than what you got. Yeah. And, yeah, I just had, like you said, definitely had that feeling of, like, I got slighted. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to understand that people see what they see in you, and they evaluate you how they choose, and you have to roll with it whether you like it or not.
Can you make the argument that it might have been maybe the best thing that's ever happened to you? Like, you look at Aaron Rodgers, he slid in the draft. Tom Brady, both completely overlooked. I think that's made them better. They had to earn it. Have you had that effect on you?
I think we'll see how it all turns out in the end. For me right now, definitely like I was saying, it gave me that perspective and that maturity to understand how people are going to evaluate you and how people are going to see you. So you have to understand, like I said, you just have to roll with it and give people the best version of you every day.
When I talked to someone about interviewing you, they said, oh, he's cocky. And I vehemently defended you. I said, he's not cocky.
I appreciate that.
I said, you don't understand what it takes to be that kind of guy. To be successful, you have to have this level of confidence. Can we talk about that balance between cocky and confidence?
Absolutely. I think cocky is something where you believe what you aren't. Yeah. And at the same time, confidence is believing in the work that you've done to be where you're at. Sure. And I think that you almost have to have a little bit of cockiness to yourself in order to put yourself out there and to believe in what you're doing. But ultimately, it's the confidence, I think, that makes a difference. And there is definitely a fine line to be walked between the two, whether you're projecting yourself as kind of rude, ignorant, above everyone else, or you're projecting yourself as, hey, I'm the hardest worker, I've given myself the most skills, and this is why I'm going to be better than you.
What advice would you have for someone who is your situation, someone in high school who has no options and isn't sure what to do?
What I would say is wherever, it sounds kind of cliche, but wherever your heart's going to take you, if you have a tug to go to a larger school or you feel like, you could walk on here or there, go for it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what you're going to end up asking yourself if you don't is, why didn't I give that a shot? Or why didn't I try? Like, oh, I probably could have made it kind of thing.
You didn't want to look back later in life.
Exactly. And that was, again, part of the reason I went to Oregon. I didn't want to essentially settle somewhere else and then end up saying like, oh, I think I could have done it.
There's nothing I respect more than someone who never stops bettering themselves. Because people, I see where I work all the time, people settle. They never stop moving up. And it's so cool to see someone who's like, no, I'm going to shoot for the moon and I'm going to make it. And I will never lose, like never stop respecting people who just keep trying, keep going. As I remember it, my junior year of high school, I threw the game-winning touchdown pass against your school, our rival.
Man.
And I remember that play. We won, and then we got robbed. We blocked your kick. And can we talk about that? Like that's always now I'm over it. First of all, like it's actually one of my fondest memories in high school. Like I'm glad that happened. I have this story forever now. I was on national. I was like, come on, man. Like
come on, man. Yeah.
But winning that game, I was always so mad at you guys. I was like, how can they be proud of that win? But maybe if you beat your rival, that's the best way to do it. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I have never been so emotionally low and then gone so emotionally high that fast.
Yeah.
I felt like we were in control of that football game the whole entire time.
I disagree, but
we for sure were. You threw that touchdown pass, and I was like, holy crap, there's a chance we lose this game. We were able to move the ball, get in field goal position. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought we should have ran a play rather than going for the field goal. And the moment the ball was snapped, you guys got penetration. Like, I saw the writing on the wall. But at that time, like, I was so ready to accept the loss and just be like, we let this one slip away. Yeah. And then it got blocked, and like I said, that emotional low, you guys started rushing the field, which was hilarious.
I don't want to talk about it.
The X Factor, Reese Keller, picks up the ball, runs it in, and scores. And I've never been so... I don't even have the word to describe the feeling. It was crazy.
Was that cool? I love your group of friends in high school. Like, they're all awesome dudes. Good. Was that fun to do that with them? Did that enhance it?
Yeah. That's honestly, those guys are kind of what keeps you from transferring to like the powerhouse schools. Like, you see a lot of guys do that nowadays in high school. They transfer to where they're going to get playing time or where they're going to get championships, all that kind of stuff. And the group of guys that I had and how dedicated we were to each other and to the team made every bit of Columbia River football worth it. And so to share that moment with them, wish it would have rather been senior year a little bit.
Sure. That's why I'm okay with it. 'Cause we ultimately,
you guys got the last laugh. But sharing that moment with those guys that you've played football with since you were second, third grade is very, very special.
Yeah. Can I say and I'm sure everyone else watching is rooting for you. And I think it's so cool. I just love the way you've persevered and you always kept fighting, always kept going.
Thank you.
I didn't realize you were cut twice. That's unbelievable. I imagine that was a gut check.
Yeah.
I respect you wholly for that. Thank you so much. I hope that this interview opens doors for more interviews down the road, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. I'm rooting for you. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Go Vikes.
Go Cougs.
My name's Nathan Hawthorne, and today I'm going to teach you about financial accounting. Just kidding.